It's a crisis. It's beyond severe, a stage of homelessness that's unprecedented in this country.
America is one of the wealthiest and most powerful nations, and yet we're not able to meet the basic human right and need of a lot of people to have housing.
This is an easy problem to solve.
Around 3.5 million people are likely to experience homelessness in any given year.
On any given night, over 500,000 people live without
From
homes.
2016 to 2017, the homeless population increased by 0.7%.
From 2017 to 2018, the homeless population increased by 0.3%.
The homeless population has been underrepresented in American democracy, creating a polarizing divide of the people, thus paving a way for the surging necessity of social change.
We, the people of the United States of America, are here today because of the fundamental American principle of unity that shaped our Constitution and defined our nation's identity.
However, this unity is not achieved if the voices of one group are neglected in the governing of our nation. As President Abraham Lincoln stated at the Gettysburg Address, government is of the people, by the people, and for the people.
The presidential debates, the word homelessness wasn't uttered one time.
The political and social neglect of homelessness is a major impeding obstacle to American unity.
Politically, this is due to the fact that politicians, during their campaigns, do not gain substantial monetary benefits from homeless constituents. Money plays an important role in elections, so politicians do not tend to spend resources on groups that are unable to support them financially.
On the other hand, there is also a misconception surrounding the homeless population that has hindered education, limited lifestyle, deterred advocacy, and prevents our nation from achieving unity when there's division among our people.
What do you think are the causes of homelessness?
Mostly mental health.
Probably mental illness.
Mental illness.
A lot of mental health.
There's a deep misunderstanding of people on the street. So I think the portrayals of people are sometimes very negative. And I think that, if there's any negative aspect of a homeless person's life in the media, it's portrayed in a way that kind of makes people believe that that's kind of the nature of people that are on the street.
What would you identify as causes of homelessness?
The two biggest reasons people are homeless in this country, everything else aside, is the lack of affordable housing and poverty.
The misperceived view of mental health surmounts nowhere near the impact of these two causes, as it only accounts for 3%.
But again, the two main causes are affordable housing and poverty.
The Welfare Reform Act, enacted in 1996 under President Bill Clinton, was a comprehensive plan that sought to reduce the number of individuals dependent on government assistance. By doing so, the homeless and critically impoverished populations were not able to qualify for welfare benefits.
However, legislation has also benefited the homeless, evident through the proposal of the Bringing America Home Act. The Bringing America Home Act represents, to date, the most comprehensive initiative addressing homelessness in the United States. The legislation involves health, economic, and housing securities as well as civil rights provisions.
People who are working 40 hours a week in regions of our country simply cannot afford the housing that they need because their wages are not sufficient to pay the high rents or the mortgages that are necessary. 13 million Americans who are paying at least 50% of their limited incomes for housing.
The National Housing Trust Fund is part of the Bringing America Home Act legislation and is the first new housing resource since 1974 targeted to building, rehabilitating, preserving, and operating rental housing for extremely low-income citizens.
These legislations that advocate and work for the national initiative for ending homelessness, most of which still need to be passed, are representative of who Americans are and what we stand for. The power to advocate, the freedom of expression, and the right to protest define the character of the American citizen to carry out all that is necessary to achieve unity.
Being American constitutes using these freedoms to be the voice for the voiceless.
But how are these freedoms obtained?
The United States Constitution granted individual liberties to every citizen. Through the language and empowerment of the First Amendment, political participation, organized efforts, and proposed legislation create a voice for the homeless, utilizing freedom of speech, expression, right to petition, and the power to protest in order to advocate and invoke political change.
The purpose of advocacy within the profession is to improve the social status of individuals who may be considered vulnerable or oppressed, thereby enhancing their standing within a specific social system, whether it is a community, organization, service system, societal institution, or society itself.
Advocacy is considered necessary, especially on behalf of citizens who are vulnerable in the sense of being threatened by social exclusion or being misunderstood or mistreated.
Defending our unity is a moral obligation of every American citizen.
For without unity, we would be better defined as the divided states of America,
instead of enjoying our inalienable rights and privileges bestowed upon us as Americans.
We cannot be separated in interest
or divided in purpose.
We stand together until the end.
The biggest thing you can do is to acknowledge that they're human beings.
Just acknowledging them. If they say good morning back.
Acknowledging their existence is huge.